firms and Big Four.
Thank you so much, Mrinalini. So, good evening, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to today's webinar on preparing for success in CA exams. On behalf of DPNC Global, I extend my heartfelt greetings to each one of you present here today. DPNC, with 8 decades of professional leadership, has been ranked among the top 10 non-international consulting firms in India on various forums. Driven by our core values, we have a strong people and client-centric culture, and that's why considered to be one of the best places to work, learn, and grow. This is evident as we serve over 30 of the top 200 groups in India, for which we have been working with them for many generations, and also ranked among the highest in our field on Glassdoor and Ambition Awards. At DPNC, we believe in contribution, and this webinar today is one of the initiatives to contribute back to our profession of chartered accountancy. The journey to becoming a chartered accountant is often challenging, filled with rigorous exams and countless hours of study. However, it is only a journey that is immensely rewarding, offering a wealth of opportunities and ability to make a significant impact in the financial world. Today's webinar is dedicated to equipping aspiring chartered accountants with the tools, strategies, and insights necessary to excel in their exams and ultimately their careers. Our theme, Preparing for Success in CA Exams, encapsulates our mission to support and inspire future generation of chartered accountants, helping them navigate the complexities of their studies and emerge victorious. We have some esteemed panel of speakers today who have graciously agreed to share their knowledge and expertise with us. We hope that each one of you will find these sessions informative and inspiring, and they will provide you with the tools you need to succeed. Remember, this webinar is for you, and we are here to support you every step of the way. So let us embrace the opportunity to learn, grow, and empower ourselves to become the best chartered accountants we can be. Together, we can achieve success and make a positive impact in the world of finance. So thank you very much, and please enjoy the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. Our first speaker for today is CA Rohan Garg from May 2024 batch, who secured All India Rank 5. He has a strong passion of learning new things and also manages his own YouTube channel aimed to educate CA students. May I request Rohan to share his own learning and experience of excelling in CA exams?
Well, good evening, everyone. Myself, Rohan Garg. I have secured All India Rank 5 in the May 24 attempt. So basically, I would love to start with a quote which I read recently, which said, "Ki success is not the key to happiness. Rather, happiness is the key to success." If you love what you are doing, you will be successful one day or the other. So I have secured AIR 5 not just because I did hard work or smart work, but because I loved what I did. मुझे पढ़ाई करना अच्छा लगता था. I used to love the provisions of DT, IT, their cross applications. So अगर आप चीजों को enjoy करके पढ़ोगे तो of course chances of you being getting successful आपके जो है बढ़ जाएंगे. So there were some factors which also contributed to my success, which are as follows. Number one, you need to consistently study for almost 8 to 9 hours a day. There were times when I used to feel that I should give up because it is not very easy to study 8 to 9 days 8 to 9 hours a day consistently for about 6 to 7 months, which you get for your study preparation. Number two, you need motivation with discipline, because the chart of motivation, if you see, motivation ka chart hota hai up down, while the chart of discipline is like constant. So you need the combination of discipline and motivation, बिकॉज डिसिप्लिन अगर आपके पास नहीं होगा तो आप कंसिस्टेंटली 8-9 घंटे नहीं पढ़ पाओगे, एंड अगर आपके पास मोटिवेशन नहीं होगा तो आप अपना 100% नहीं दे पाओगे. सो यू नीड अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ डिसिप्लिन प्लस मोटिवेशन in order to excel in CA exams. Number third thing which also contributed to my success was revisions. I studied each and every subject at least 10 times before my main exams, because this was successful. This happened because I gave almost 5 mock test series A mock test series is like giving mock exams before your main exams. So I gave 5 mock test series, and during every mock test I used to revise all the subjects at least 2 times. So 5 into 2, at least 10 times revision. So जितना ज्यादा आप रिवाइज करोगे मेन एग्जाम से पहले, उतना ज्यादा आपके जो है कंसेप्ट क्लियर होंगे, एंड द मोर आपको जो है समझ में आएगा कि एग्जाम्स में चीजों को कैसे क्लिक करना है. देन नंबर फोर्थ थिंग जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वो ये है कि इंस्टीट्यूट का जो आईसीआई मटेरियल होता है उसको आपको जो है गीता बाइबल मानते हुए पढ़ना चाहिए. अगर आपने इंस्टीट्यूट के आईसीआई मटेरियल को बहुत अच्छे से कंसेप्चुअली इलस्ट्रेशंस एंड बैक एक्सरसाइज के क्वेश्चन अगर अच्छे से कर लिए, सो गारंटेड आप पास होगे. बस ये है कि आपको कंसिस्टेंटली उन सब चीज की कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए. देयर इज वन मोर थिंग विच आई वुड लव टू से दैट ईच एस्पिरेंट जो नवंबर 24 में एग्जाम देगा, they must study with conceptual clarity, because ICI has now changed the pattern of asking questions in main exams. Earlier what used to happen was questions were coming in main exams, जो आपके ICI मटेरियल में दे रखे थे वो डिट्टो कॉपी पेस्ट एग्जाम्स में आ जाते थे. बट अब ट्रेंड चेंज हो चुका है. अब ICI इज नाउ मोर फोकस्ड ऑन गिविंग कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी. ICI चाहती है कि बच्चे कंसेप्चुअली चीजों को समझे, इसलिए उन्होंने क्या करा है, मेन एग्जाम्स में कॉन्सेप्ट्स पे क्वेश्चंस पूछना चालू कर दिया है, ना कि कॉपी पेस्ट थिंग. एंड नंबर 4 थिंग, आपका जो आर्टिकलशिप एक्सपीरियंस है, जो आपकी जो प्रैक्टिकल स्किल्स है, वो ऑफ कोर्स आपके प्रिपरेशन में बहुत ज्यादा काम आएगी. बिकॉज देर आर मैनी सब्जेक्ट्स, फॉर एग्जाम्पल DT, IDT, FR, दीज आर ऑल रिलेटेड टू प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ. सो इन केस अगर आपने आर्टिकलशिप बहुत अच्छी कर रखी है अपने फर्म से, तो आपको जो है बहुत हेल्प मिलेगी अपनी स्टडीज में. एंड एट द एंड आई वुड लाइक टू कंक्लूड, और आपको एक गाना समझा के जाता हूँ जो दंगल का गाना है. अगर आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हो अपनी स्टडीज से, तो आपको ये गाना सुनना चाहिए. ठोस मजबूत भरोसा अपने सपनों पे करना, जितने मुंह उतनी बातें गौर के इतनों पे करना, आज लोगों की बारी जो कहे कह लेने दे, तेरा भी दिन आएगा उस दिन हिसाब चुका के रहना, अरे भीड़ की हाहाकार के बदले शेर की एक दहाड़ है प्यारे, दंगल दंगल. सो योर मेन एग्जाम्स आर लाइक दंगल. अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो, अच्छे से रिवाइज करो, स्टडी हार्ड, कीप प्रोग्रेसिंग, एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच. सो आई वुड लव टू give my mic to Mrinalini madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arjit. The ending was really wonderful. Once again, congratulations to you on your success. Our next speaker is Mr. Diwas Gupta. He qualified as a chartered accountant in May 2015. He was a consistent rank holder, including All India rank 5th in CA finals, 31st rank in IPCC, and 9th rank in CPT. He did his articleship from DPNC and started his professional journey with Coca-Cola, and currently works as GM Finance Division at Godrej Consumer Products. Diwas, we look forward to hear your valuable tips for aspiring CAs preparing for their exams.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Good evening, everyone. So first of all, why I've chosen CA is because, I have literally seen while I was doing CA, and even now also, CA plays a very significant role in the nation building. Be it, at your household, be it at the government end, or be it at of the company. So, that really, inspires a lot of us to be part of this very strategic, or let's say very, a profession which has a very good amount of significance on the national level. So, to start with, the way I've thought to, structure today's discussion on preparing for the examination is into 3 parts. So the first part I would like to start with on the, just a second. So the first part that I would like to start with is during your articleship. The second part would be more focused during your examination leave. And the third part will be exactly when your examinations are happening, what should be your strategy, or what should be your certain do's and don'ts. So when I talk about any of the articleship that you are going on, because the moment you enter into the articleship, right, the clock starts ticking, because you have limited time, you have to attend to the office. Then I would say that focus on the conceptual clarity while you're studying during your articleship, which is the major chunk of your CA final. Focus on the conceptual clarity, because if you are clear, then it will be easier for you to retain later on. Cut down on some of the social engagements that are outside work, because essentially what happens, in a lot of social engagements, these are kind of distractions during these 2.5 to 3 years. And secondly, you will not be able to lead a very disciplined kind of a journey. And you will feel that a lot of your friends during this time are enjoying your vacations, or let's say are going for trips, or even on your family front as well. But just hold on to that, because I'm just telling you, if you are being patient at that point of time, you have won half of the battle. Because what happens when we see others, we always keep distracted, right? And we also want to go for those things. I would say for all those, the time will come, right? Because these 2.5 to 3 years, these are very essential in terms of for you to understand the concept, and second, to deliver better at the workplace. Because whatever you study, you can definitely relate it to the practical things that you are being doing in your articleship. And I can say that, we are very blessed that in a course like CA, we have around 2.5 to 3 years of articleship, right? Which none other course have. So that is the biggest advantage, that we have. So we should make use of it, right? Now let me go on to the next part, which is during your examination leave, which is, let's say, 3.5 to 4 months, typically, I would say, for both the groups, in case you are appearing. So during that time, first of all, I would say that every individual is unique, right? Don't first of all compare your plan, or don't go by in what others are doing compared to what you should do. First of all, assess yourself, know your strengths and weakness, know your study habits. That is really important. Some of you might be comfortable studying in the evening, or in the night. I mean, some of you might be very comfortable studying in the morning. Some of you might be very good at, while you will be explaining the concepts to someone, then automatically the concepts become very clear to you, right? Because one form of learning is teaching, right? So I'm saying, just guard yourself, just assess yourself first, that what is your natural way that your brain learns, right? And then accordingly devise your strategy in terms of how you want to take it ahead during the examination leave, right? So again, I'm saying that, one of the example is, some of you might be okay without seeing anything over a phone, right? And keep on studying, but some of you might have an habit of, checking the phone regularly. Now that's a very important thing, because, smartphones, social medias are a big distraction. But what I'm saying is, don't force anything on yourself, right? What you can do is, maybe if you have a very, strong habit of going and checking on the phone, so please channelize it to the right thing. In case you want to see, let's say, after every half an hour that you study, take a 5 minutes break, see some motivational videos, or have some, phone off, just talk to some of the friends, sit with the family, so that this 5 minutes you detox yourself, then your next half an hour is 100% effective, I can guarantee you. And your, so in a way, for 3 hours, you can effectively come up with 2.5 hours of study and half an hour of break, right? So, I mean, these are some of the ways and means. But for some other people, I'm just giving an example. For some other people, long sitting can be okay, right? So you can continue studying long and then take longer breaks, right? So you need to assess yourself. Again, I'm saying, don't compare your path with someone else, because each one of you is unique. Then let me come to some of the technical pieces during your examination, during your examination leave. Now, in terms of technical pieces, as Rohan has also very aptly mentioned, stay very close to the institute's literature, right? Which is RTPs, MTPs, study materials, right? Some of the suggested answers, some of the past questions, because those are very much key to have an understanding that what does the institute expectation is. Secondly, in case of practical questions, if there are too many questions, right, you can always, while you're solving them, you can always try to find out some of the uniqueness in some of the questions and note it down, so that in terms of the second revision, there is no need to solve all the questions. You can just go through those significant points, or let's say the mistakes that you did while solving those questions, and hence it will be a very effective revisioning for you in a very time bound manner. For theoretical papers, right, where you need to retain a lot of things, essentially, one is rotation of those subjects with the practical subjects helps a lot, right? Because if you continuously study theory, it's very difficult for you to absorb it. Second is, to give a constant, immediate next revision. In case you do that, scientifically, it is proved that the chances of retaining is better. So let's say in 3 days you study one theory and one practical. So I would suggest that on a fourth or fifth day, just revise the entire theoretical piece so that it sits in your mind, right? So these are some of the things on the technical bit. Now, the last thing which I would say is the writing practice, because in examination, in a 3 hour setup, right? At least from a normal writing speed, the expectation is that a single page is written and thought through in a 2.5 to 3 minutes, right? So just think about that strategy, practice that writing so that at least that if you don't at least if you know the answers but you still can't complete the examination, that also might penalize you. Hence I'm saying that writing is very much important, as Rohan has also emphasized that solving mock test papers will really help you in a time bound manner, right? Because that will give you a real examination kind of a environment to solve on for the questions. Now during examination, it's very essential that during examination you should not start with anything new which you have not done in your articleship period, which you have not done in your examination leave. Please resist from starting anything new in those 1.5 to 2 days that you get for your preparation. The reason is you just need, you can make the things very simple by just revising what you have already done, because that will help you to go with some level of confidence in the examination hall. While doing the exam, prioritize those questions that are very similar to what you have observed during your revision. And once you come out of your examination hall, please don't self-assess yourself. Please don't do that mistake. Because what I've seen is a lot of us have that habit of, coming out of the examination hall and do the self-checking that out of 5, I should get 3. Out of 6, I should get 2. Never ever resort to that. Never ever do that. Second is never ever, discuss your solutions of the examination with any of your friend or colleague, because it might happen that both of you might be right, but since it might differ, it might derail you from the preparation of the next examination. So I would say just come back, take rest, and then keep your efforts for the next examination. So I would say, stay very focused, be patient, be disciplined. All these things will really help. At the end, I would like to just sum up my entire discussion with two overarching things. One is that I have always believed that success is a journey and it's not a destination. And I can tell you that once you reach at that level, you will cherish these times of your preparation, which is again a journey. And you would be very, very, very happy to look back and see that these all things have converted you to a professional to what you are in currently. And the last thing is, the objective of the examination is not only a conceptual clarity, it's also about the retention and correct delivery in the examination hall, right? Because you can be fabulous in terms of understanding the concept, but if you don't deliver it and you don't retain it, definitely there is a issue. So I would say understand, retain, and deliver, right? So I think that's all from my side. And yeah, my journey has been really good with DPNC, because I can say I'm a product of DPNC. I've worked 3 years with DPNC in my during articleship, and I have got really good exposure. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you, Mrinali. Over to you.
Thank you, Diwas. That's indeed relevant and useful. Now we have Mr. Archit Gupta, who's a CA and alumni of Deloitte with 10 plus years of experience. He's the founder of Thinking Bridge, a platform that has trained over 40,000 finance professionals across domain. I would like to invite Archit to elaborate more from his professional journey insights gained along the way.
Thank you so much, Pranalini. Thanks a lot for such generous words. So, guys, I'm not able to see the chat over here. Mrinali, if we can enable the chat if possible, because जब तक सेशन इंटरैक्टिव नहीं होगा तब तक ऑडियंस के साथ मजा नहीं आता है. तो अगर हो सकता है, नहीं तो anyways. So, guys, all the November 24 applicants, right? All of you will be appearing for November 24 exams. हमको एक्चुअली यहाँ पे 7 मिनट दिए गए हैं, तो जैसे चक दे इंडिया में था ना कि शाहरुख खान कहता है 70 मिनट आपकी जिंदगी के सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट 70 मिनट, वैसे ही आई वॉन्ट योर फुल अटेंशन फॉर द नेक्स्ट 7 मिनट्स। कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजों को डिस्कस करेंगे, मजा आएगा। दिस विल हेल्प यू फॉर योर एग्जाम्स, थोड़ी मोटिवेशन मिलेगी और शायद कुछ आपको टिप्स भी मिल जाए। तो आई शेयर माई स्क्रीन, और इन द मीन टाइम अगर चैट इनेबल हो जाएगी तो आप चैट में जरूर से रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे। आई एम गोइंग टू रीड ईच एंड एवरी चैट। सो let me share the screen. I hope my screen is visible. And here we go. So guys, the introduction, this is something about me, which Mrinalini has already discussed. I qualified in 2016. I have over 10 years of experience, and I'm a certified forensic auditor too, completed DISA, LLB. I have had the experience of Big Fours, and I'm practically heading Thinking Bridge, which is one of the practical training platforms for finance professionals. इंट्रोडक्शन पे टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे, आगे बढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि अगले 3 महीने, नेक्स्ट 3 मंथ्स गाइस आर गोइंग टू डिफाइन योर जर्नी फ्रॉम योर स्टाइपेंड टू सैलरी। 3 महीने में होने वाला है आपका सिग्निफिकेंट इंक्रीमेंट। कहीं देखा है ऐसा इंक्रीमेंट? 10,000 की स्टाइपेंड मान लेते हैं, बिकॉज डीपीएनसी इज अ टॉप 10 फर्म, तो अच्छी स्टाइपेंड वगैरह भी आपको मिल रही होगी। 10,000 की स्टाइपेंड से यू आर गोइंग टू गेट अप्रोक्सीमेटली ₹1,00,000 पर मंथ आफ्टर जस्ट 3 मंथ। कितना परसेंट इंक्रीमेंट हुआ? चैट में आंसर नहीं आ सकते, ओके। सो आई थिंक द
Chat
इंक्रीमेंट
is
इज,
enabled, Archit.
चैट इज इनेबल्ड,
Yeah.
ग्रेट ग्रेट ग्रेट। सो गाइस आई वांट योर 100% पार्टिसिपेशन। लिख के बताओ एक बार, सब स्टाइपेंड से सैलरी में यू आर गोइंग टू गेट अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1,000% का इंक्रीमेंट। एंड मनी से बड़ी मोटिवेशन शायद कुछ हो नहीं सकती, राइट? एंड 1,00,000 रुपीज की सैलरी में मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ बिकॉज यू हैव कंप्लीटेड योर आर्टिकलशिप फ्रॉम डीपीएनसी, which is a top 10 firm, and you have got a great exposure. Even though the packages of chartered accountants, average packages would be on the lower side, but you are going to get at least a 12 lakh package after your 3 months. तो इस जर्नी के लिए प्रिपेयर कर लीजिए। 3 महीने आपके बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाले हैं। कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट टिप्स जो मैं आपको देना चाहूंगा गाइज, स्मॉल टिप्स, ज्यादा नहीं, बिकॉज रोहन एंड दिवस हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड इन डिटेल। नंबर वन गाइस, नंबर वन, ट्रस्ट मी, बिफोर योर एग्जाम्स, नवंबर से पहले अक्टूबर में, इफ 1 लाख पीपल आर गोइंग टू गिव देयर एग्जाम्स, ट्रस्ट मी, 1 लाख के 1 लाख लोग उसी पोजीशन में होंगे, उसी डर को महसूस कर रहे होंगे जो डर आपके अंदर होगा। बट यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि हमको वो अटेम्प्ट अपना डेफर नहीं करना है। बहुत बार ये सोचा जाएगी कि साहब वी कैन डेफर आवर अटेम्प्ट, वी कैन गो फॉर द मे अटेम्प्ट, बट आपको अपना अटेम्प्ट डेफर नहीं करना है। हर किसी को डर लगता है, हर किसी का गला सूखता है, सो द अटेम्प्ट डेफर करने का विचार आपके मन में नहीं आना चाहिए। दिस इज टिप नंबर वन। हम 12th क्लास में थे, हमने कोई ना कोई कॉलेज का एम्बिशन लिया होगा, दैट विल गो टू दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज, हम इतने मार्क्स स्कोर करेंगे। बट डिड वी एवर थिंक कि भाई 12th के बोर्ड्स में अगर इतनी परसेंट नहीं आए तो हम इसको अटेम्प्ट समझ के दोबारा क्लास 12 को रिपीट कर लेंगे? कभी हमने नहीं सोचा। सेम शुड बी द स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर सीए एग्जाम। दिस इज नॉट योर अटेम्प्ट, दिस इज योर एग्जाम, और हमको ये एग्जाम देना है पूरी पूरी प्रिपरेशन के साथ, और डर सबको लगेगा बिफोर 15 डेज। दिस इज पॉइंट नंबर वन। नेक्स्ट गाइस, सर प्रैक्टिकली क्या होता है कि सर हम पढ़ने बैठते हैं ना, पढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं, 1 घंटा अच्छी प्रिपरेशन होती है, 2 घंटा अच्छी प्रिपरेशन होती है, आफ्टर 2 आवर्स सम थॉट कम्स टू आवर माइंड और हम उस थॉट में बह जाते हैं। एक थॉट के बाद दूसरी थॉट, दूसरी के बाद तीसरी थॉट। तो उसके लिए आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू अ प्रैक्टिकल एडवाइस। जब भी ऐसा हो कि आपको कोई डिस्ट्रैक्शन हो रही है, आपकी थॉट्स, आपका माइंड कुछ प्ले कर रहा है आपके साथ, जस्ट टेक अ पेन एंड पेपर एंड स्टार्ट राइटिंग, स्टार्ट प्रैक्टिसिंग द क्वेश्चन। बिना सोचे समझे लिखना शुरू कर दो, क्वेश्चन को प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू कर दो, अपने आप सारी थॉट्स माइंड से चली जाएंगी। दिस इज पॉइंट नंबर वन। पॉइंट नंबर टू, सर ये चीज हमको हमारे टीचर्स ने बताई थी। एट आवर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम देयर यूज्ड टू बी फेस टू फेस क्लासेस, ऑडिटोरियम में 2-2 हजार स्टूडेंट्स होते थे, और हमारे टीचर ने कहा था, अजय जैन सर थे, उन्होंने कहा था कि सर अभी 2000 बच्चों में से जो अपना सिम कार्ड फोन का निकाल के तोड़ देगा, द पर्सन हु इज गोइंग टू ब्रेक हिज सिम कार्ड, वो सीए बन जाएगा। एंड हजारों बच्चों ने ऑडिटोरियम में अपना सिम कार्ड निकाल के तोड़ दिया था। दिस मोबाइल फोन इज द बिगेस्ट डिस्ट्रैक्शन। इसको जितना आप दूर रख सकते हैं अपने 3 महीने, अपने से उतना दूर रखिए, राइट। नेक्स्ट सर एक छोटी सी स्टोरी सुनाऊंगा इन नेक्स्ट 1 मिनट। एक विलेज थी गाइस, एक विलेज थी जहां पे बहुत ज्यादा ड्रॉट कंडीशन थी, बहुत सूखा पड़ा हुआ था, बहुत टाइम से वहां पे बारिश नहीं हुई थी। ध्यान से सुनिएगा फॉर द नेक्स्ट 1 मिनट। और वहां पे एक बाबा आते हैं, और वो बाबा इस बात से फेमस थे कि जब भी वो नाचते हैं वहां पे बारिश हो जाती है, जब भी वो डांस करना शुरू करते हैं वहां पे बारिश हो जाती है। तो जिस विलेज में बहुत टाइम से बारिश नहीं हुई थी, उन बाबा को उन्होंने बुलाया, उन्होंने वहां पे नाचना शुरू किया और वहां पे बारिश हो गई। ये देखते हुए उन बाबा की पॉपुलैरिटी इतनी बढ़ती गई कि जिस भी विलेज में दिक्कत होती थी, जहां पे बारिश नहीं होती थी, इन बाबा को बुलाया जाता था और कहा जाता था कि साहब आप ये चमत्कार, आप ये मिराकल करके दिखाओ। तो बाबा दूसरी विलेज में गए, वहां पे वो डांस करे और वहां पे बारिश हो गई। और जैसे जैसे ये चीज फैलती गई, ये बात शहर तक पहुंच गई और हमारे मीडिया और रिपोर्टर्स तक पहुंच गई। तो 4 हमारे मीडिया के लोग आए उस विलेज में और उन्होंने कहा कि भाई ये हम नहीं मानते, अगर बारिश बाबा के नाचने से हो सकती है तो हमारे भी नाचने से हो सकती है। तो वो 4 लड़के आए वहां पे और उन्होंने कहा कि हम नाचेंगे तब भी बारिश हो जाएगी। अब उन 4 लड़कों ने नाचना शुरू किया। 1 घंटा हो गया, बारिश नहीं हुई, एक थक के बैठ गए। 2 घंटे हो गए, बारिश नहीं हुई, दूसरे भी थक के बैठ गए। 3 घंटे हो गए, बारिश नहीं हुई, वो बाकी दोनों भी थक के बैठ गए। फिर गांव वालों ने उन बाबा को बुलाया, बाबा ने नाचना शुरू किया। 1 घंटा हुआ, बारिश नहीं हुई। 2 घंटे हुए, बारिश नहीं हुई। 5 घंटे हुए, बारिश नहीं हुई। 10 घंटे हो गए, बारिश नहीं हुई। 12 घंटे हुए, बाबा नाचते रहे और 12वें घंटे में इन द 12th आवर बारिश हो गई। तो उनसे पूछा गया कि साहब ये क्या मिराकल है, ये कैसे चमत्कार आप करते हैं। तो उन बाबा ने बोला कि मैं जब भी नाचता हूं, मैं इस विश्वास के साथ नाचता हूं कि बारिश जरूर होगी, और मैं तब तक नाचता हूं जब तक बारिश नहीं हो जाती। मैं रुकता नहीं हूं, मैं तब तक नाचता हूं जब तक बारिश नहीं हो जाती। इसलिए मैं जब भी नाचता हूं बारिश जरूर होती है, और दुनिया उसको ऐसे देखती है कि जब मैं नाचता हूं तब बारिश होती है। मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी इज, आपको अपने एफर्ट्स तब तक करने हैं जब तक आपके हिसाब से रिजल्ट्स ना आ जाए, जब तक बारिश ना हो जाए आपके हिसाब से, टिल दैट टाइम यू हैव टू पुट योर 100% एफर्ट। दिस इज द मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी। आई होप कि छोटी सी स्टोरी से थोड़ी सी मोटिवेशन मिली होगी। ये 1-2 स्लाइड्स को मैं स्किप करता हूँ गाइज, बिकॉज वी आर रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम। एज आई सेड कि 7 मिनट मिले हैं हमें, तो आई जस्ट कंक्लूड इन द नेक्स्ट 1 मिनट। सर मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगा, चार्ट मेरे को अभी भी विजिबल नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं गाइज, आपके सिग्नेचर की क्या पावर होने वाली है आफ्टर बिकमिंग अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट। हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब कह गए थे कि उनके सिग्नेचर की भी वो पावर नहीं है जो आपके सिग्नेचर की होने वाली है। अगर मैं आपसे एक वर्ड में पूछूं व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ ऑडिट, या फिर आपके सिग्नेचर की क्या पावर होने वाली है, आई विल शो यू विद एन एग्जांपल। मान लीजिए हमने एक पीस ऑफ पेपर पे 500 लिख दिया, क्या इसकी कोई वैल्यू है? क्या बात करो सर, एक पीस ऑफ पेपर की क्या वैल्यू? और इस 500 की? सर इस 500 की भी, मेरे पहले सेशन होते थे ना जब 2000 का नोट चल रहा था, तो स्टूडेंट्स बोलते थे कि सर इस 500 की भी कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, 2000 से नीचे तो बात ही मत करा करो। बट यस, इस 500 की एक वैल्यू है। क्या डिफरेंस है बिटवीन अ पीस ऑफ पेपर एंड दिस करेंसी नोट? सर एक तो गांधी जी की फोटो का फर्क है, और एक यहाँ पे आरबीआई के गवर्नर के सिग्नेचर्स हैं, विच इज मेकिंग अ पीस ऑफ पेपर अ लीगल टेंडर। तो जो रोल आरबीआई के गवर्नर का सिग्नेचर प्ले कर रहा है एक पीस ऑफ पेपर को लीगल टेंडर बनाने के लिए गाइस, वही रोल आपका सिग्नेचर प्ले करेगा टू मेक अ पीस ऑफ पेपर एंड ऑडिटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स। आपके साइन होने के बाद दुनिया उस पर रिलायंस प्लेस करेगी, दुनिया उस पर ट्रस्ट प्लेस करेगी। दिस इज द पावर ऑफ योर सिग्नेचर। इफ आई टेल यू इन वन वर्ड, योर सिग्नेचर ब्रिंग्स रिलायबिलिटी। दिस इज व्हाट द सोसाइटी एक्सपेक्ट्स, राइट। बाकी आप डेफिनेशन पढ़ते रहते हो कि भाई ऑडिट इज इंडिपेंडेंट एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स वगैरह, बट In one word, your signature brings trust and reliability. This is the power of your signature. And next, guys, I just want to say कि भाई आपकी एजुकेशन जर्नी इन 2 लेटर्स के बाद काफी हद तक कंप्लीट हो जाएगी। क्या कहना चाहते हो सर? सर मैं कहना ये चाहता हूँ कि आप अपने पेरेंट्स से, आप अपने रिलेटिव से बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हो 10th के बाद सर मजे ही मजे हैं, 12th के बाद सर मजे ही मजे हैं, बस सर कॉलेज कर लो फिर मजे ही मजे हैं, इंटरमीडिएट कर लो, डीपीएनसी जैसी फर्म से आर्टिकलशिप कर लो। लेकिन सर लेट मी टेल यू, आज तक वो मजे नहीं आए, आज तक वो एजुकेशन जर्नी कंप्लीट नहीं हुई। बट आफ्टर गेटिंग दीज 2 letters बिफोर योर नेम, ट्रस्ट मी, आपकी एजुकेशन जर्नी यहाँ कंप्लीट हो जाएगी एंड आप अपने घर वालों की नजरों में भी बड़े हो जाएंगे, आप अपने रिलेटिव्स की नजरों में भी बड़े हो जाएंगे। जिनको लगता है कि भाई हमसे आज ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं, हमारी बहुत आंसरेबिलिटी रहती है, वो सब रिड्यूस हो जाएगी, आपकी ओपिनियंस मानी जाएंगी और आपको एक अलग टाइप की इंडिपेंडेंस मिलेगी बिकॉज दीज 2 letters आपकी यहाँ पे एजुकेशन जर्नी को कंप्लीट कर देंगे, राइट? तो ऑन दिस नोट गाइस आई जस्ट वांट टू से कि एक वर्ड जो आपकी लाइफ बदलने वाला है उसके लिए हमको अगले 3 महीने बहुत मेहनत करनी है एंड दैट वन वर्ड इज सक्सेसफुल। पहले यहाँ पे पास लिखा होता था हमारी मार्कशीट पे, अब लिखा हुआ आता है सक्सेसफुल, राइट, फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर अटेम्प्ट। तो बहुत मेहनत करनी है गाइस और ये वर्ड हमको देखना ही है। And on this note, guys, thank you very much for having me. I am C. Archit Agarwal, signing off. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mirali.
Thanks, Archit. That was very useful and inspiring to us all. Concluding to our panel of speakers today is Mr. Sanjiv Chaudhary, Senior Advisor with DPNC. He is a CA, LLB graduate, CPA with over 42 years of rich experience with reputed CA firms, including Big Fours, at senior positions. He has been a former member of International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, that's ISBA, New York, US, and Central Council of ICAI. May I request Sanjeev sir to share his insights into the future of CA profession for our aspiring CAs.
Thank you very much, Milali, for the nice words of introduction. We had 2 rank holders among us today, Rohan and Diwas. We just heard Archit about what to do in the next 3 months. And I think, let me say this, that the real journey actually starts when you get those words CA, which Archit showed us in his last slide. I think till then, you are between the exams and the results. And the goal is to pass the exam, as Archit rightly said. I think when you get this degree, the day you get your results, I remember I could not sleep that night thinking on, now what next? What am I supposed to do now? So I think one thing which probably I learned very early was that you must strive for excellence. And I'm reminded of a rule which was coined by Robin Sharma. He used the word image. The word image, if you look at the 5 letters in the word image, he explained those 5 letters by saying that if you want to strive for excellence, the first letter in image is I, that is innovate. I think you must be able to challenge the status quo and constantly seek new solutions. You need to be honest. You need to really work hard if you want to challenge the status quo. So you need to innovate. That's the first letter in image. The second letter in image is M, mastery. You got to hone your skills. You need to be an expert. I think the choice is up to you whether you want to be in the top 20% or the bottom 20%. I think nobody would like to be in the bottom 20%. Or you want to be in the middle 60%. If you want to be in the top 20%, then you need to do more than others. And if you want to be in the top 5%, then you need to do much more. So you need to master whatever you want to do. The next letter A stands for authenticity. Be authentic, be yourself, be your normal self, be genuine. And I think keep up your promises. If you're authentic, people will start trusting you. The next word is G, image. G, guts. You need to be bold. You can only be bold if you are honest, if you are innovating, if you are learning, if you are excelling in what you're doing. And then you need to seize the opportunities which come your way with confidence. So be courageous, have the guts. And the last letter is E, ethics. It may be the last letter, but it is hugely important. I think it is your ethics, your integrity, your value system, which will keep you in good stead in the long run. I've always believed in, when I've done over a period of time, looked at people, recruiting people in the firms, I'm fine with someone who's probably less experienced or maybe needs improvement in some knowledge areas. On ethics and integrity, there is no compromise. They're absolutely non-negotiable. So if you look at the word image and look at these 5 criteria: innovate, mastery, authenticity, guts, and ethics, those will help you carve out a successful and a rewarding career. Now let's go forward from here. I think what you should do to prepare yourself for the future. And I'll just give you 6 or 7 bullets, and I will not expand on those because of the paucity of time. Embrace technology. If you're technologically deficient, if I use a stronger word, you will not survive. Need to embrace technology, number 1. 2, develop data skills. 3, focus on communication. And I think this is very critical. What I've seen in the last maybe close to more than 2 decades, people differentiate between MBAs and a chartered accountant. And the reason being, one reason which is given to me time and again is that some of us lack in our communication skills. You're knowing the subject, your knowledge, until unless gets translated into your explaining something to the other person in a clear communication, you will not succeed. Your understanding will be of no use if you can't explain what you're saying. So I think that's one area which you must focus on, communication, and as you go along, on presentation too. Number 4, specialization. We talked about mastery. I think we're moving towards from a generalist to a specialist. Network and build relationships as you go along. Continue learning. You got to learn every day of your life. I keep learning even today also. I talk to my younger colleagues, I learn from them. I learn from my peers, I learn from my seniors. Continue learning. And to prepare for a better future, I think you need to also identify your mentor. It can be more than one. It is not that you've got to have one mentor, have more than one, but I think you'll have to reach out to your mentor, he or she, to seek the guidance. So the responsibility is on you to identify a mentor, which can be more than one, as I said, and then reach out for guidance. Now, coming out very briefly to the opportunities, I think there are several promising opportunities. So, in the traditional areas of practice, generally I've seen, and all of us would have seen, the firms are on the audit and tax side. All of us know audit is becoming very challenging in these times. And because of the challenge, there are some people who do not want to do audit, the statutory audit. Archit talked about the value of your signatures, and when you sign something, the test function, I think there are more responsibilities and liabilities as we look at things today. I think all of us would agree that whenever there is a challenge, there are opportunities too. And I was talking to some firms in Mumbai and Bangalore, and I was told by someone there saying, look, there are people who are getting away from audits, and we think there's a huge opportunity for us to get into the audits. So imagine when everyone is saying there are responsibilities and liabilities, there are some of us who are thinking about that here also there's an opportunity to excel and do well. That's just one traditional area I thought I'll touch upon. But because of the changes, the trends in technology, the regulatory changes, the new business models, there are many opportunities which are there today and in the coming years. And let me just briefly touch upon a few of them. First is technology and automation. As businesses increasingly adapt to the digital transformation, there's a growing need and a demand for CAs who understand technology-driven accounting systems, who understand what is data analytics, what is automation, especially the new CAs. They must and they can specialize in implementing and optimizing these technologies, the new age technologies, to improve efficiency and accuracy in the financial reporting. Understanding the technology will also help you in decision-making processes. So I think technology and automation is one area which will give you huge opportunities. It is for us. So if someone has to ask me today, can I go into this newer area? I may be reluctant, but people who are qualifying today in the first few years of your career, look at this area. The second area is, I think, on the advisory and consulting side. The traditional auditing, the traditional compliance, the tax, etc. There's a huge opportunity on, creating financial planning models, risk management, MA, mergers and acquisitions advisory, sustainability consulting. There's so much there that one has to look at these areas and then go into these new areas. The third I will talk about is the regulatory compliance and the governance area. I think the laws are changing everywhere. The regulations are coming in, and every business needs to comply with the regulations. I think a chartered accountant can play a very crucial role in ensuring these compliances and maintaining proper governance standards. You can go into forensic accounting, you can go into fraud prevention, you can go into regulatory reporting. There's enough and more to do on the complex regulatory side. So that's the third area which is very promising. Fourth is international opportunities. If you understand IFRS, if you understand the globalization of businesses, sitting in India, you can advise your foreign clients. You can go overseas and work for multinational companies. You can do advisory roles. You can go into standards and regulations. There's enough and more laws changing in the UAE. I think the compliances in the UAE has increased so much that there are professionals from India who are working there and started advising on the compliances in those areas. You can be an entrepreneur and work as a startup. You understand the business models, you understand finances, you can look at the early stage growth, you can look at how to secure funding, how to ensure financial stability. You can go into sustainability and ESG reporting. This is another area which is catching up in India now. The ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. So there are corporates who are supposed to contribute to the environment, contribute to the social needs, and contribute to the governance. And there are requirements coming in from SEBI for certain companies to have the ESG reporting. As we go along, this is bound to increase. So you will be asked to work on these areas from two sides. One, from the side of the employer, and the other can be from the side of the auditor. So I think there are enough and more opportunities coming up. I think I would recommend very strongly that you should look at what is your core strength area. What do you want to do in life? You would have done good training, you may have good internships. You may take a couple of years to decide, get into whatever you want to today. And maybe explore the next 1, 2, 3 years. And you may change your course. You may join an organization today and may start your practice 2 years later. Or vice versa, that you get into a practice today and say, look, after a couple of years, practice is not what I want. Maybe I can contribute much more in joining an organization, maybe small, medium, large. I think you will always shift gears, change your course of action, whether you want to be in one area or the second. I had someone who was doing tax with me for about 6 years, and she came to me one day and said, look, I want to give up tax, I want to go to teaching. I had someone working with me in the tax in a large firm. That person has gone into teaching in 2019-20 and is doing so well in teaching. I think you can always change lines. This profession actually gives you that opportunity. So I think there's enough and more to do. I think you need to be focused, work with passion, and I think I think Rohan talked about being consistent and doing your hard work. I think that is what will take you forward. I think I'll stop here, Nalini. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjiv sir. That's really pertinent for our aspiring CAs. Our next segment is Q&A. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have for our esteemed panel members. You may also type your questions on the Q&A chat box, which is already open for the messages. We've received our first question, which is 10 years down the line, after we become a CA, do you think we can contribute to the larger economy? Sanjiv sir, may I request you to take this question as I feel it's very much in line to what you just covered.
So thank you very much. I think I've already covered it. I think someone talked about this was Diwas, I think, who talked about are we really partners in nation building? And I think my answer is yes, provided we are consistent, we are ethical, we are working in public interest. I think ethics is very close to my heart, as close to the people I work with in DPNC. We have always worked with huge amount of integrity and ethics and not compromise on those principles. I think there's enough and more, as I talked about, in automation, in services, in entrepreneurship, in ESG, in international areas to work at. Keep learning, keep working with passion. I have seen the last 40 years things changing. COVID brought in very big change on the technology side. So there's enough and more for all of us to, work and contribute to the profession, to the economy. There's enough and more, yes. Thank you very much, Nandi.
Thank you so much, sir. Meanwhile, we've got one more question here, which is it better to start studies from the beginning of articleship or we should start after a few months? Diwas, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. I think undoubtedly, yes, the preparations should start the moment you enter into articleship. And maybe if, let's say, there are certain subjects where there are amendments that can be kept for the later on. But to start with, the subjects which have lower amendments or the course and curriculum which is kind of very clear, that can be started with. Yeah. Thanks for the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Diwas. Oh, we've got a lot of questions here. Okay, let me take this one. Should we go for both groups or single group? Rohan, would you like to answer this, please?
Sure, madam. Just a second. Is my screen visible? Just a second.
Yes, we can see.
I would say it depends. The answer to the question depends upon how your preparation is going on. If your lectures are all done, अगर आपके both groups के lectures हो चुके हैं, then you can definitely try both groups. But condition ये है कि you must have revised all the subjects at least one time before the main exam, because in case if you start revising subjects from now onwards, it would not be possible for you to appear for both groups in November 24. So the conditions are you have completed your lectures and you have at least revised all the subjects one time before today. So अगर ये दोनों conditions satisfy होती है, then you should definitely target both groups. Otherwise, you should target group 1 or group 2 as the case may be, and उसमें excel करके उसमें पास होके सक्सेसफुल होके आप नेक्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में ग्रुप 2 या फिर ग्रुप 1 रिस्पेक्टिवली अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो.
Thank you so much. Taking the last question of this webinar. So it says how to control exam pressure or anxiety during the exam period. Archit, may I request you to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so guys, I already covered this in the PPT also. Number one tip would be that whenever there are many thoughts in mind, just start writing, mock practice, start to write practice paper, start to practice some questions. Number two, the thing which worked for me very well is to keep a very good friend circle. अच्छा फ्रेंड सर्कल रखो जिनके साथ आप बात करो, एंड ट्राई करो कि भाई ऐसे लोग साथ में हों जो अपना फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट दे रहे हों, राइट? तो उससे बहुत एक पॉजिटिव एनर्जी रहेगी। बात करो उनके साथ कि कैसे क्या चीजें चल रही हैं, उनसे नहीं तो अपनी फैमिली से बात कर सकते हो। सो ये एक चीज हो सकती है। नंबर थ्री, एक मॉर्निंग वॉक का अगर अच्छा सा रूटीन आप डेवलप कर सकते हो, दैट विल ऑल्सो ब्रिंग पॉजिटिविटी। सुबह सुबह अगर आपका पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट के साथ डे स्टार्ट होता है तो आपका आउटपुट बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। और एक बड़ी फिटिंग आपको शुरुआत में, जिस भी टाइम आप उठते हैं, वॉक करके आइए, फ्रेशन अप होके अपना बढ़िया सा एक बड़ा चंक ऑफ स्टडीज निकालिए, अबाउट 5 to 6 आवर्स, उसके बाद ब्रेक लीजिएगा। ठीक है, दिस विल हेल्प यू, दिस इज समथिंग विच वर्क फॉर मी, राइट? राइट Mrinalini?
Thank you, Archit. So that was the last question for this session. Before we close today's session, we have with us Mr. Shivashish Kannani, who's amongst the senior professionals from DPNC IDT team. He's a CA and LLB with over 11 years of experience from reputed CA firms and Big Four. Now I will invite him to share the word of thanks.
थैंक यू मैम। क्यों भरोसा करते हो गैरों पे जब चलना है अपने पैरों पे? दिस इज स्टोरी ऑफ सीए स्टूडेंट्स, the hard work which is required in this course. So be dedicated and put your best efforts in this course. I thank on behalf of DPNC Global to everyone and for joining this session. We hope you found the webinar enriching and that the knowledge shared will aid you in your journey to become a successful chartered accountant. To Mr. Sanjiv Kumar Chaudhary, sir, thank you for enlightening us, sir. You have reached epitome of the CA Council, and most of CA students look up to you for guidance. To Mr. Archit Agarwal, your tips were so calming, I almost forgot. I was stressing in the morning how I'm going to thank everyone today. To Diwas Gupta, you made it sound like planning for an exam is just as exhilarating as unwrapping a new gadget. To CA Rohan Garg, post your outlook. I am tempted to go back and retake my exams just to test them out. I would also like to thank everyone in the organizing team, especially Mrinalini, Arun, Kanika, Rachna, Rohit, and Rakesh at DPNC Global for their hard work and dedication in making this webinar possible. Without you, we all would have been clicking on join meeting links that leads to nowhere. As a firm, DPNC Global is committed to contributing back to the CA profession. We look forward to organizing such more events in the future and continuing our support to the CA community. Thank you everyone once again, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you everyone.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having us,
Shiv.
Shivashish. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone, for joining us today. I hope you found the session valuable and informative. And best of luck to each one of you as you prepare for the upcoming exams. We'll now conclude the webinar.
Thank you.